Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thought Leadership Track, sponsored by Nomura. The session will be starting momentarily. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our one-on-one session. Here are our speakers, Anchor CNN Money CNN, Poppy Harlow, and VP Product Management Google TV, Mario Queiroz.
Hi guys, thanks for being here. I think more people are going to sort of trickle in because it's the lunch hour, but we have half an hour with Mario, so happy to have him here. I wanted to be very open to discussion, so if you have a question, please just come up to this microphone anytime during the panel, so you don't have to wait till the last 5 or 10 minutes. So thanks for being here, Mario.
Thanks,
I appreciate it. Let's just talk about the goal of Google TV, because you're sort of front and center in charge of it all, and the strategy to getting where you want to be. Because to me, it seems like we are at sort of the infant stages of what this could become.
Yeah, we're really in the embryonic stages, I would
really?
say, of what this could become. Our goal with Google TV, and I'm going to take a little bit of a step back, is really to do with television and with television partners what we've done with Android on mobile phones. So if you think about it, and the analogy here is, before you had a mobile phone which had voice and text, and then the Android phones and the iPhone brought the full web through a browser and brought applications, hundreds of thousands of applications to that phone. You still talk on your phone, you still text, but there are a lot of new things which you do with your phone. You spend a lot more time on your phone than you used to. So TV is similar. The goal of Google TV is not to replace television, but actually it's to enhance the television experience. And so we are embracing TV, but in addition to TV, we're putting a browser on TV for you to have access to the full web, and we're bringing an application, an Android application platform, so that you can have access to apps. So before, it was your phone with voice, and then came the browser, and then came apps. With TV, it's a similar thing with Google TV. You have your television programming, your DVR, everything that you have today, and you have access to the full web, and you have access to applications.
So I saw an interesting stat when I was reading up on this. Display Search said that more than half of TVs sold by 2014 will offer web service, at least half. What does that mean for Google TV? Does that mean they will Google TV will be integrated? Because that's something that should be very clear here. Google partners with different hardware creators, a number of them,
yes,
for Google TV. So this really is like Android and bringing it into the technology.
Absolutely is, and that's a good insight from you. And Google TV is not an end user product itself. It's an enabling software component which consumer electronics manufacturers build into their products, and which serves as a platform for content owners to create content for the web that you can view on your TV, or for them to create applications for you to interact with your TV that way. It's difficult to predict whether half the TVs are going to be web-enabled in 2 years, because it really is going to be like a hockey stick. Just like the iPhone and Android have had such tremendous adoption, and I expect that interactive TV or internet on TV is going to have this also explosive adoption at some point. Exactly which month that's going to happen is difficult to tell.
Right.
But our goal is for us to have a very rich and powerful platform to enable as many of these devices as possible.
So let's get to the question and the topic on the minds of, I think, a lot of folks out here, and that is the disconnect. That it seems to me to be a disconnect between some of the networks and Google Television, right? So your point, Mario, is we want to optimize your content, you being the network, and you work with my parent company, Turner or Time Warner, and show it on the web. There are others that don't want you to do that. ABC, CBS, NBC have blocked some, not all, some of their content from Google TV. Where's the disconnect? How can you get through that?
Yeah. So another very good point, and it really isn't a disconnect. It really is about our working with all of these content partners for us to explain what Google TV is. Our focus is not on bringing the great content which is on television today to the web so that you can watch it through the browser rather than watching through your television. As I said before, Google TV is about TV and the web. And so the misunderstanding is when people say, oh, Google TV does not offer some of this long-form content or some of these TV shows.
Right.
Google TV absolutely offers that content through your regular television programming. We built the technology in a way that it integrates TV and web. And so our focus is not to bring redundant content, which you have access to already on your TV, to your browser, but rather it's to work with existing content owners, new innovative content owners who are building content for the web and for applications to enhance and extend the content experience of the consumer as opposed to replace what's on television.
So Eric Schmidt a while ago questioned whether some of the networks understood Google TV, and we were just addressing that issue. Les Moonves, the head of CBS, said, "I know Mr. Schmidt thinks we have our head in the sand, but I beg to differ." So for this whole industry to move forward, not just your competitors, the networks have to at some point work together. What's it going to take?
Well, one of the things it's going to take is it's going to take time, because I don't think anybody has their heads in the sand. I think there are a lot of incredibly smart people both in the technology parts of this industry as well as in the content parts of this industry. What it's going to take is exactly what we've been doing, which is we are open to, and we've actually been talking to all of the content owners, large and small, to continue to explain what Google TV is. There is a change going on in the industry in terms of business models, because with the IP network coming to televisions and coming to PCs and tablets, it's no longer the case that your content is only available through one means and through the traditional television signal. Because there's a change in business models, then the companies need time and the industry needs time to adjust to that. And so we are being very open and flexible in terms of understanding what are the needs of the content owners. For example, if someone has a service which they want to put a paywall around and offer that service through the web on television, our product is built on a browser that will access any website just as the browser on your desktop PC.
So you can do that, paywalls or no paywalls?
Absolutely. If someone wants to put a paywall around their content on the web, Google TV absolutely supports that, because Google TV supports access to the entire web.
Looking at what Google TV can do for content creators, large networks, small content creators, talk about YouTube on the television. I mean, what are the biggest upsides that you see right now?
Okay. The short answer is that the coolest thing about Google TV is something that hasn't been discovered yet. And that's the cool thing about Google TV, is that it's a platform that enables not just the few thousands of engineers at Google to be creative, but for the world to be creative in terms of creating websites. It's an open web platform, as well as for people to create applications. But today, you already see glimpses of what's possible. So, for example, there is an application which was built by CNBC to allow for you to customize how you view CNBC. And you can imagine that CNBC is not going to go away as a cable channel. A lot of people still watch it, and it really covers all industries and all stocks and all different sectors. And there's value to that for consumers to see all that. But some people like to say, okay, in addition to watching that version of CNBC, I want to be able to say, I want to follow these 10 stocks, and at any point I want to click on one stock and see the latest content which CNBC has for me on that stock.
So whether it's an interview that Maria or Aaron has done, or whether it's the stock quote or analyst reaction. Exactly
right. And so CNBC is now offering both their standard television offering as well as an Android application on Google TV to allow for this customized experience. Let's say the Food Channel, for example, right? And the Food Channel, if you watch the Food Channel, you're going to see chefs and restaurants from across the country and possibly from around the world. But you also have the possibility with the web for the Food Channel Miami to be created, so that local chefs and local restaurants can talk about their great food. And anybody who might be traveling, let's say, to Miami can go on Food Channel Miami and check that out. And then they have that particular content is much more personalized for that person. The Food Channel isn't going to go away, but the Food Channel Miami is going to have value for specific people at specific times.
Well, and that doesn't just help the person taking in the content, the visitor or the resident of Miami. That helps the advertisers in a huge way.
Absolutely, and because it's a much more targetable environment or platform for advertisers to to make their offerings.
So talk to me about your discussions with advertisers in local markets. What's the potential that they see in this? We know there's a lot of obviously national advertisers, but for the car dealership in Detroit, say, what does this mean for them?
So here we're getting into an ideation type of a conversation, and I say it's an ideation conversation because, in fact, we've built Google TV really with a focus on the end user experience, and we haven't devoted a lot of engineering and thinking about advertising products for the platform itself. There is a lot of opportunity once the platform matures for advertising products to be built for the platform itself. Again, the analogy with mobile applies. If you take your Android phone, there are no ads on your home screen of your Android phone because we've been building it in a way for you to be able to get to your content and get to the things you're trying to do very quickly. That's the same thing that we've done for Google TV. Now that said, you can envision a world where, let's say, you're watching television, or you're in one of these applications, and you see a car that you like, and based on where you are, based on your preferences, potentially on your history, if you've enabled that in your privacy settings, you can click a button and then go to an ad and an offer from a local advertiser. And so we have a platform that's flexible enough that will enable us to create advertising products for the future that are very specific for this environment. And and this has evolved in the mobile space, and it will evolve on TV. In the mobile space, when you first had a browser on your phone, you would do a search on Google, let's say, and you would see the exact same ads that you would see on your desktop. Today, when you do a search on the browser on your mobile phone, you see, for example, a click-to-call ad. You click on that and your phone dials that business. So over time, new creative advertising formats were built. You see little ads on applications. And you're going to see the same thing developing on TV. Over time, both for the web and for applications, and potentially for the platform, there are going to be new advertising formats.
One of the things that surprised me when Mario and I first spoke before coming up here was that you said your vision isn't necessarily that TV and the web become one. There are many people out there who think, okay, well, one day I'll be viewing this. Say I work for CNN Money, so we create original video content for the web, right? So one day I'll be able to watch that as a television interview or a television show. Why do you think they don't become one?
They don't become one because they're different. And again, there will be value in content from television and content from the web. I do think that there will be a more seamless experience in going between the two. And what we believe is happening is, 30 years ago, or whenever cable TV was first coming to being, there were 4 television stations, and 4 television stations then became 400 television stations. And now with the web coming to TV, with things like YouTube coming to TV, you're going from 400 channels to 4 million channels, 40 million channels. There are a trillion URLs on the web. And so really you're seeing this massive expansion in terms of the availability of content coming to television and to all the screens in your house.
How is it going to change when I decide what I want to watch? Let's think about hitting the guide button on my remote control. Down the road, how do you see it? Instead of channels, numbered channels, will I see websites?
You'll continue to have a number of different options. That's one of the things, for example, in the very early version of Google TV, which we have today, you can still get to your guide if you really love the experience of your guide from your pay TV operator, or you can simply search. You can start typing, and you will, for example, if you want to go to CNN, I start typing CNN, and I will see a number of suggestions on how I can change the channel to go to CNN, or I can see the CNN website, or I can see some relevant video to what I'm looking for from CNN. So search and discoverability is going to become very, very critical because you have an infinite amount of content. You wouldn't be able to have as much benefit from the web today if Google or Google Search or search engines weren't available. Given that we're going to massive amounts of content on television, you're also going to need to have very smart search algorithms and very smart recommendation engines for watching what you want to watch.
So I'll never forget about a year and a half ago sitting down with Eric Schmidt and him telling me that my television isn't smart enough and that my TV should know what I want to see, what I have seen, and what that indicates that I will view in the future. How does Google TV make my television smarter in knowing me?
So it makes your television smarter in that if you tell us that as a Google TV user that you want us to be able to make better suggestions for you, and you enable us to be able to use your search history, for example, and your television watching history to make you suggestions, then we start to understand what you like to watch, at what times of the day, and so on, and we can make better search recommendations for you.
When you say if, I can opt in or not?
You can opt in. Much like on your desktop browser,
Sure.
on your PC, if you tell Google that you want your search history used for improving the ranking of the search results, we will do that. If you tell us you don't want us to do that, then we won't do that.
What are early indications showing you? Do people want that?
Early indications are showing that people want, with the growth and the amount of content, people want better search results and better recommendations.
More targeted.
And so it's always a matter of how much do I want to enable Google or the particular provider to have access to my history, and it's all a matter of the value that you get back from that, and also your satisfaction and your trust in knowing that Google is going to treat your personal data appropriately.
I want to get to that issue, the privacy issue, in a minute. Any questions from the audience? The clock's not working here, but we've got about 15 minutes left. Yeah, right there.
Hi, my name is...
We can hear you.
Oh, I'm Doug Warner from Los Angeles. As a content provider, how do you look at packagers such as myself going forward to Google and utilizing Google as your primary distribution platform if you have an advertising component behind you and then backing into the networks, whether it's broadcast or cable?
So let's separate the two parts of the question. One, in terms of how you might package your content. We give you the ability to package your content, again, either through the web, where one can access your content through the browser that's on Google TV. And it's not as clunky as, okay, I'm going to go to the browser and I'm going to go get your content. There are bookmarks, and we're working on the user experience so that it's easy for me as a consumer to see your content as a channel, just like you see other content on TV. So it really is up to you, and we have teams that can, Google has teams that both create technical support as well as support some content developers directly to help you build your content, create your content for the television experience, whether it be through the web or as we launch the Android market. The Android market is analogous to the App Store on your iPhone. As we launch Android market for television, you'll have the ability really to customize an application with all of your content, the way that you would customize an application for a tablet. And so you really have an option of going web or application. We have a lot of resources that can help you create your content that way. Now, as far as advertising then the advertising that you're going to see on your website or on your apps is analogous to what you see today on your desktop or on your mobile phone. And so we haven't, as I mentioned before, we haven't spent a lot of engineering time coming up with specialized advertising formats for the TV web or for TV applications. But that will happen, just as it has with mobile phones. That will happen as well. So it's really, really the very early innings. And by preparing yourself and getting experience with this new medium, you're going to be probably ahead of the game in terms of being able to create content for this new distribution needs.
Can I just ask one follow-up?
Yeah.
So traditionally, if I'm selling to the networks and I'm delivering content to the networks, I still would prefer, from your point of view, to go to the networks first to get my initial window of distribution and then back into Google? Or is Google ready, given the economics of the production of the show or the series, to accept that as a primary platform of distribution and then utilizing the networks or syndicated stations or cable stations as a secondary market? Is that realistic now?
So we're not creating any content for Google TV itself. It's a platform for you to distribute your content. So you're not coming to Google to speak with me and for us to do a deal on how you distribute your content through Google TV. I think that the options are that you go to an established network or media company, bring your content to them, and they distribute it through the different channels that are available to them, whether it be the traditional television signal or the web or applications, whatever that might be, or you have your own distribution company or media company that brings that to the platform. Now, we also have a different part of our company, which is YouTube, where we do have content relationships between all types of content owners and our YouTube platform for bringing video to that platform. Those are two different things,
Exactly.
and that's.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Sure.
it.
You've got a line of questions.
All
This
right.
is impressive.
All right.
Next question.
Hi, thanks,
Hi.
Mario. It's kind of a long and complicated question, so I hope you could be patient with me.
We've got 9 minutes.
Okay, promise we'll take less
Not
than that.
just for your question.
So I guess the first question is, it seems like the misunderstanding is not so much with Google TV, but the concept of the open web browser. You know, because they're sniffing Boxy out the same way they're sniffing you out, and they're blocking. So I guess first off, do you think it's while they're allowing widgets and applications for Hulu and some of the networks, so do you think it's an open web browser thing? And the second question is, there are three questions. The second question is, you know, part of the reason I think they're doing that is because you're essentially looking to give people content for free that they're trying to charge people for, in a dual stream revenue business that's moving towards subscription and advertising. So how do you reconcile that? How do you expect them to give you your content, to give them their content so that you could monetize it while stripping out the subscription stream? And I guess the last question is...
Can I say something on that point? Because I think that this addresses that too, and it's an important point. Ivan Seidenberg of Verizon recently saying, you know, it's inevitable new wireless technologies will hurt cable companies. To address his question of pay platforms, et cetera, is that true? And to his point.
Okay, so to address the first part of your question, one correction is the networks or the content owners don't have to sniff out Google TV. We actually built a product in a way where we very explicitly tell whatever website the user is going to that it's coming from Google TV, so that it's the owner of that website, the content owner, has the choice of whether to offer the content or not, and can make decisions on how to present that content so the experience is appropriate. And so it is not it's the fact that you have an open browser that's generating this misunderstanding, if you will. And you know, when going to the second part of your question, then it's really not up to us it's absolutely not up to us to dictate how content should be brought to the web and to that browser. We're not telling anybody that they should put all of their content for free into that browser. And as I mentioned before, if you have a service, whether it's a subscription service or you know, you're selling videos or films or TV shows, you can do that through your website with a paywall, with authentication, and Google TV absolutely supports that. So it really is an open platform that enables the business model of the content owner to come to life.
You're trying to optimize the way that we see it.
Exactly. We're trying to optimize the way that we see it, and we're trying to help the content owner optimize the delivery of that.
Sure. I guess the last question would go right to that then. Do you think you're promoting the unbundling of subscription content?
I don't think we're promoting any particular business model. What we're promoting is another broad set of channels for the delivery of content. As I said before, you know, there's really an unlimited number of channels or programs that content can be delivered through now, and it really is very flexible for the content owner to create what they believe is the best experience, and for the user to choose what they believe is the best experience for them.
Yes?
Hi. First of all, let me tell you, I love the idea of Google TV and the way that it enhances the user's experience. I think it's awesome. That said, Google is the largest advertiser in the world. Television networks, cable networks, that's where they make their money, is off of advertising. So if you're going to be making your money off of advertising on their content, then where do they get their cut, for instance? Okay, that's kind of my first question. Then second question.
Let's address one
Okay.
at a time. Go ahead.
Okay, so we're not trying to unfairly make money on any anybody's content. It's just as what you have on the web. Let's say you have a fabulously successful website, and there's advertising that happens on that website. It's up to you whom you use as an ad server, let's say. It's up to you how you sell your ads. You can come to Google and say, I want to use AdSense, I don't want to touch it, and Google will place ads on your website, and then there's a revenue share that happens there. But it really is in control of the content owner how they put their content onto the web, and it's not and you do as you do on the web on your tablet or on your PC, you do make money from that content.
Right. Okay, so then the second part of my question is, I know that Google AdWords supports advertising on a lot of pirates' websites. In fact, a lot of filmmakers complain about it because people are advertising there. It seems to me like you would have to take a more responsible approach to where you do place your Google AdWords to make sure that the legitimate websites are supported with legitimate advertising.
Is that really your realm?
I'm happy to answer that. And last month we announced a number of new measures. We're always improving what we're doing to try to address the underlying problem of piracy. And one of the things we announced is that we're improving our procedures around AdSense anti-piracy reviews. So that's one of the things that we're specifically doing that's addressing exactly what you're talking about. There are a number of other things that were announced as well, but that one is I'm glad you bring that up, and that's something that's being addressed, and we communicated that publicly last month.
Good. That's a big deal. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the issue of privacy. You brought it up before we went to some of the questions. It's obviously a very important issue in this day and age. And when you talk about Google TV and you talk about coming into the home in different ways, what are the most important things to you to do in addressing the privacy issue?
Well, we're doing all of what we think are the most important things, and I'm sure that we're going to learn more things and we're going to add to it. So the first thing is, as with anything else that Google does, privacy is really important, not just because, I'm not saying that just because it's the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do, but if we lose the trust of our users, whether it be with a search engine or with Google TV or whatever, then our products will not be as successful as they are. So that's a fundamental point that applies to Google TV as well. But very specifically on Google TV is bringing the Chrome browser to your TV on top of the Android operating system. What that means is all of the privacy controls that you have on your desktop for your Chrome browser, and Chrome really has very advanced privacy controls you have on Google TV as well. That's the first thing. The second thing is when you set up Google TV, we've put a lot of effort into making very explicit throughout the entire setup process what your privacy options are. We don't just go through it without asking you, and then you have to remember, I have to go change something. And third, if after you've gone through setup, later on you say, I want to see what my privacy settings are, within the settings menu of Google TV, you have very quick access to all of the privacy settings. So these are the things we've built into the product very explicitly to address privacy.
Okay, I'm supposed to wrap up here. Two more quick questions. Larry, now in charge of Google, obviously he and Sergey, the founders of the company. Does that change at all what we might see coming out of the company, and specifically with Google TV?
I don't think that changes anything, except if anything, it'll help us possibly deliver Google TV even more effectively than we have before, because Eric has had a great 10 years at Google. I've seen him work, and I've worked with him many times, and he's just done a fabulous job. Mm-hmm. Larry and Sergey are both incredibly smart guys, and what we're going to see is Eric talked about how he's going to spend more time with partnerships, and partnerships are really, really important for Google TV in terms of the manufacturers, the content owners, the MVPDs, and so I certainly will be continuing to work with Eric for him to help us.
It's a great point of what he could do on that front for Google TV.
Exactly, not just in the U.S. but internationally as well. And secondly, Larry is a genius with regards to how all of our products work, and so is Sergey. And I expect that we're going to be achieving what Larry has said he wants to do, which is to make the company faster, more nimble, and bring more innovation. And if we can bring more innovation into Google TV, I'll be really, really happy. I'm very open to their involvement in our project.
Will TV as we know it today exist in 10 years? Final question.
Oh, I think TV will change a lot in 10 years, but it will be, it'll change for the better. You're going to have everything that you have today and a lot more.
It's not a zero-sum game.
Absolutely not a zero-sum game.
Thanks so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Poppy.
it, Mario. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
All the things that travel light, firefly is in my night, showing how to feel alright.